Practical guidance for believers. When facing hardship, Islam gives clear guidance on how to respond. First, practice patience. Patience is not passive. It means staying firm, maintaining faith, and avoiding despair. The Quran says, "Indeed, Allah is with the patient." Surah Al-Baqarah 2:153. Second, turn to Allah in prayer. Dua or supplication is a direct connection to Allah. It brings comfort to the heart and clarity to the mind. Even short prayers like "O Allah, help me" are powerful. Third, seek support from the community. Family, friends, and fellow believers are gifts from Allah. Helping and being helped strengthens both hearts and faith. Fourth, focus on hope and trust. Hardships are temporary. Allah's mercy is vast. Trust that He has a plan beyond what you can see. Finally, take action where possible. Do not simply wait for relief. Seek solutions, help others, and work to improve your situation. Islam encourages balance between trust in Allah. Understanding the names and attributes of Allah. To answer this question, we must first understand who Allah is. In Islam, Allah is not defined by one single attribute. He is not only merciful, He is also all-wise, all-knowing, and just. When we say Allah is merciful, it means His mercy is greater than anything we can imagine. But His mercy always works in harmony with His wisdom and justice. For example, a parent may love their child deeply, but love does not mean allowing the child to do whatever they want. Sometimes the parent disciplines the child, not out of cruelty, but out of wisdom and care for their future. In the same way, Allah's mercy does not mean life will be free of pain. It means that whatever Allah allows has purpose, balance, and wisdom behind it, even if we cannot always see it immediately. The Quran says, "Perhaps you dislike something while it is good for you, and perhaps you love something while it is bad for you. Allah knows, and you do know." The role of life as a test. Islam teaches us that this world is not paradise. It is a temporary place, a place of trial and examination. Allah tells us in the Quran, "He who created death and life to test you, to see which of you is best in deeds." Surah Al-Mulk 67:2. This means difficulties are not random. They are part of the divine test of life. Just like students are tested in school to measure their progress, believers are tested in life to show their sincerity and strength of faith. Tests can take different forms, sometimes through blessings like wealth and health, and sometimes through hardships like poverty or illness. Both are tests to see how we respond. When we face hardships, the test is, will we stay patient? Will we trust Allah? Will we hold on to our prayers and values? Without tests, there would be no way to distinguish true faith from empty words. Through trials, our faith is purified and our souls grow stronger. So when bad things, the purpose behind hardships, when we look deeper, we see that hardships are not meaningless. In Islam, every hardship has wisdom, even if it is hidden from us. First, hardships purify us from sins. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "No fatigue, no disease, no sorrow, no sadness, no hurt, no distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick of a thorn, except that Allah expiates some of his sins for it." Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. This means difficulties wipe away mistakes and cleanse the believer like fire purifies gold. Second, hardships raise our ranks in the hereafter. Through patience and trust in Allah, we earn greater reward. The greater the struggle, the greater the reward promised. Third, hardships are reminders. They remind us not to become too attached to this world. They wake us up when we forget Allah. A trial can bring a person back to prayer, back to humility, back to seeking forgiveness. So, hardships are not punishments for every person. So, distinguishing human evil from divine will. Another important point is this: not every bad thing comes directly from Allah's command. Many evils in the world are caused by human choices. Allah gave us free will. With it, we can choose good or evil. When someone chooses to lie, steal, or oppress, that is their own responsibility. Allah allows free will, but He will hold every soul accountable. Think of it this way: if Allah stopped every act of evil instantly, then free will would have no meaning. We would be like robots, unable to choose. But true faith requires freedom to choose, and justice requires accountability after choice. At the same time, nothing happens outside Allah's knowledge and permission. When He allows an evil act, it is not because He approves of it. Rather, He allows it as part of the greater test of life, and He promises that ultimate justice will be done in the hereafter. So when we see human evil, war, injustice, cruelty, we should not. Examples from prophets and righteous people. When we face hardships, we should remember the examples of those before us. The prophets and righteous people suffered greatly, yet they remained patient and trusted Allah. Take the story of Prophet Ayub, alayhi salam, known in English as Job. He lost his health, his wealth, and even his family. For years, he lived with pain and isolation. Yet he never lost hope in Allah's mercy. He prayed, "Indeed, hardship has touched me, and you are the most merciful." Allah then restored his blessings and made him a symbol of patience for all time. The greatest example is our beloved Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was an orphan as a child. He buried his own children with his hands. He faced hunger, exile, battles, and the loss of his companions. Yet, he never complained against Allah. Instead, he showed gratitude, patience, and trust. His companions also endured hardship. Some were tortured in Mecca for the mercy hidden in suffering. At first glance, suffering feels like pure pain. But often, hidden within it, there is mercy and wisdom. Sometimes, what seems bad in the short term leads to greater good in the long term. A person may lose a job and feel devastated, but later they find better work that suits them more. Looking back, they see that the difficulty was actually a blessing. The Quran reminds us, "It may be that you dislike something, yet Allah places in it much good." Surah An-Nisa 4:19. Suffering can also soften hearts. When people experience pain, they often become more compassionate to others. They learn patience, empathy, and humility, qualities that might not grow in times of ease. Even illness can carry mercy. It may bring family members closer together. It may push a person to remember Allah more often, and it wipes away sins, as the Prophet ﷺ taught. So while suffering hurts, it is not empty or wasted. Behind it, Allah places hidden gain, the afterlife as the ultimate justice. One of the most important teachings in Islam is belief in the hereafter. This life is not the end. It is only the beginning of an eternal journey. In this world, we often see injustice. The innocent may suffer. The guilty may escape punishment. But the story does not end here. Allah promises that the day of judgment will come. On that day, every deed, big or small, will be accounted for. The oppressors will face justice. and the oppressed will receive their full rights and reward. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "On the day of judgment, rights will be given to their owners. Even a hornless sheep will be given justice against a horned sheep." Sahih Muslim. If even animals will see justice, then what about human beings? Nothing will be forgotten. For the believer, this is a source of hope. Any hardship endured with patience will be rewarded far beyond measure. The Prophet ﷺ said that when a believer who suffered greatly, practical guidance for believers. When facing hardship, Islam gives clear guidance on how to respond. First, practice patience. Patience is not passive. It means staying firm, maintaining faith, and avoiding despair. The Quran says, "Indeed, Allah is with the patient." Surah Al-Baqarah 2:153. Second, turn to Allah in prayer. Dua or supplication is a direct connection to Allah. It brings comfort to the heart and clarity to the mind. Even short prayers like "O Allah, help me" are powerful. Third, seek support from the community. Family, friends, and fellow believers are gifts from Allah. Helping and being helped strengthens both hearts and faith. Fourth, focus on hope and trust. Hardships are temporary. Allah's mercy is vast. Trust that He has a plan beyond what you can see. Finally, take action where possible. Do not simply wait for relief. Seek solutions, help others, and work to improve your situation. Islam encourages balance between trust in Allah. Conclusion. In Islam, suffering does not mean that Allah is unmerciful. Every hardship has purpose, wisdom, and potential reward. Life is a test. Human beings have free will. Sometimes suffering purifies us, elevates our status, or brings hidden blessings. Sometimes it reminds us to return to Allah and strengthen our faith. The prophets and righteous people faced immense trials, yet their patience and trust brought them closer to Allah, an eternal reward. True justice and mercy are completed in the hereafter. What seems unfair or painful now will be made right by Allah, and believers will see the full wisdom of their trials. So when difficulties come, respond with patience, prayer, and hope. Trust in Allah's plan. And remember that mercy can be hidden, even in the most challenging moments. Faith does not remove trials, but it transforms how we face them, giving peace, meaning, and connection with the most merciful.